Hi, colleagues, and welcome to our next episode of DINCast. On behalf of the Disruptive Innovators Network, I'm really pleased to have so many of you tuning in to view these short videos with thought leaders from across a range of different sectors. Delighted that today's session is going to be on intelligent automation and the future of work. And we're joined for this interview by David Biden, who's the founder and CEO of Human Plus. And what we wanted to try and do here was, again, explore where automation has had a positive impact and a positive role within the current COVID crisis, and also how the future of work is going to be affected by this. So, a couple of good subjects to get our teeth into. So, can I now introduce David? Welcome along. Thanks very much for participating in this video series. Would you like to just tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so thanks very much for inviting me online in. Hello, network and DIN members. So I'm David Biden, CEO and founder of Human Plus. This is business number 3. Always been in and around the digital and consulting space, mostly into the government sector, but spread across quite a few others, including financial services for quite a long stint as well. As Ian said, focusing on helping organisations look forward to the future of work, what it looks like, what it means for them. No more of a poignant time than now to be doing that, and using automation as part of one of the tools to get there.
So, David, in terms of the crisis, you'll have been helping a lot of your clients out particularly in the health and sort of housing, social housing field. How well do you think automation has been doing to support organisations who've developed some good intelligent automation uses during this crisis?
I think it's been a bit of a mixed bag, to be honest. So we've seen a few of our clients they've already got bots and automation in place. They've already got the skill sets internally, and they were able to react very, very quickly to the new demands on their organisation, but also to the spike in demands of current processes. And turn things around a bit quicker. We've also seen people that have got the technology. They were sort of dipping their toe in a proof of value type achievement at the moment, but didn't have the in-house skills. So they've had to turn to people like us to be able to turn this around for them, and it's taken them a bit longer. But then I think the third thing we've seen, which is probably the most interesting, is the COVID crisis acting as a bit of a catalyst for automation. We do a lot of work with NHSX, all its various different facets at the moment, speaking to them most recently about, okay, Nightingale hospitals, how do we handle the discharge of 4,000 patients over this period, about where they're going back? How do we update all the medical records? How do we get this information to their doctors? How do we get it to their local hospitals and things like that? They've never thought about automation before. So they know a little bit. They're now turning to us and others to say, okay, if you're telling me that this thing can process all of this information and get this data to the points that we needed to a lot faster, well then show me, and you've got 3 weeks to do it. It's really in that mode of thinking at the moment.
And for those sort of viewers who are not familiar with sort of intelligent automation, could you just sort of explain, briefly exactly what it looks like or is in practice?
Yeah, sure. So it's often called robotic process automation. They're referred to as bots and things like that. We're not talking about physical robots. It's purely software robots, usually placed in the cloud. And what they're able to do is replicate functions that humans do. So at the most basic level, they take data from various different inputs, various different systems, transfer them to other systems to get a customer or an internal output. With the extreme level, it's often the first step towards AI for a lot of organisations. It's getting people thinking about bots and machines doing things that you would have otherwise done previously. So it takes away a lot of mundane, boring things from a lot of tasks and a lot of roles that people have within their job and their organisation, and automates them so they don't need to be done anymore.
So where do you see sort of the future and the opportunities for intelligent automation, and particularly, perhaps during this sort of crisis, how could they have helped more? Have you got any sort of examples or insights you could share around that?
Yeah, sure. So I think one of mistakes people often make is they look at this as they look at bots or RPA or intelligent automation as solving a particular problem rather than it being a capability that an organization has. So if you set up, I don't know, your invoice processing on a set of bots, then those bots are capable of doing anything. They don't just need to do invoice processing. They can do, we do a lot of change of address for local authorities and things like that. It's a big thing that comes into their contact centers. So I think having the capability and having people within your organization is how you should be looking at it, so that you can cope with these times of crisis rather than just having it do one singular thing. So for most organizations, 5 bots and a person that knows how they all work would have made a huge difference in this capacity. If you've got a contact center that's been hammered with thousands and thousands and thousands more requests for rent holidays and things like that at this current time, the bots could have coped with that spike.
So it's basically like having a virtual workforce alongside a human workforce. Is that right?
Very much so. So those five bots, as it were, those 5 virtual workers, as you say, they're often referred to, have got way more capacity than a human being. I mean, I won't labour the normal marketing points about being available 24/7 and 365 days a year and all the rest of it, but they really are. So they can take up that grunt work for a lot longer.
So assuming that, say, the intelligent automation can actually, take on a lot of what you call, I suppose, the grunt work that we're currently getting humans to do. One of the issues will be, well, what will this impact, or how might this impact on the customer experience? How do you see this?
It should impact nothing but positively, with processing times coming down, people getting those, and customers getting those end results a lot quicker. Don't put intelligent automation right at the front of your business. Start at the back, learn how it works, learn how your processes work, learn what state your data's in, which is a very important piece with any RPA, intelligent automation or AI project. And then from there, gradually build up to those frontline services. So what you'll find with a lot of them is we can spin up forms, bots can do text messages, bots can write emails, all of that sort of stuff at a very basic level. You're not going to have these sorts of bots interacting on the telephone or obviously face-to-face with a customer and things like that.
So I suppose this is part sort of bots, part sort of future of work. Some leaders might see automation as a way to create efficiencies, and employees might see them as a threat. How do you look at that?
It's both. Let's tackle the elephant in the room. It is most definitely both. This technology can be super sexy and attractive to senior leadership teams because we can spin up business cases in a week. We often do it. We have a business case that will save you in the millions, and it will cost you a few $100,000 to implement, and it can all be done within 6 months. That's a really attractive business case, especially in this current climate. Now, the key to getting it right is what you do with the savings that automation brings along. So if you just want to implement automation and wipe out entire teams, you're doing it wrong. You're going to get the wrong messages to your workforce. You're going to make them scared. You're going to take such a hit in the mental well-being of your team that the efficiencies on paper won't be worth it in the long run. You'll lose the trust of your workforce. Now, what you should be doing is looking at automation enterprise-wide, getting some big savings, some big numbers, and then sharing those with the workforce. We've seen some really cool case studies whereby a computer games company I was speaking with not so long ago set a challenge to the workforce to go out there and automate 8 hours a day per person, 8 hours a day. Now, this is at the extreme level. So everybody went away. They gave them the tools, they gave them the skills, they employed a consultancy to help them do it and everything like that. Every person in the organization had to find 8 hours a day. Then what they did is they gave them back that 8 hours. So they said, right, thanks very much. We're going to now implement this program of work over the next 2 years, and you can all work 4 days a week. Same pay, same holiday, same everything. You've automated those 8 hours. Now, not everybody's got that much of a luxury, but you can certainly share the wealth and what an organization is saving. By doing that, you're not going to need to cut as many people. I mean, look, as I say, that is what will happen. You will get some natural attrition through this, without doubt. It's not worth saying that you won't. And it's better to be upfront with your staff, upfront with your people, and communicate this on day one of the project. To go, look, this is what we're looking to do. We're looking to save X amount of FTE across the organisation. We do it every year. We just do it in different means. It's just that when it comes to robots and automation, because the potential savings are so big, it makes it a lot scarier. And for some people in the wrong organisations, they should be scared about it. There's no getting away from that. If the leadership is wrong and they implement it in the wrong way, then yeah, they have the right to be scared, as it were. But done correctly, it provides a wealth of opportunity as well, because you're going to have a new centre of excellence span up to support these bots. A lot of what we've done in the past is take people from administration roles and retrain them to be bot developers, bot specialists, work at a centre of excellence. But that's just the start of it, really. Going forward, as you become more of an automated organisation, more of a data-driven, technologically open organisation, you're going to need data scientists, you're going to need data specialists, you're going to need more technological specialists, and you're going to need less people processing invoices and things like that. It's just how an organisation should be travelling in the modern day. What we've seen with the COVID crisis is that journey will just be sped up by a lot of people. So take those people from those grunt work roles, reposition them, repurpose them, reskill them as much as you can to get more into design, more into R&D, more into technology. Take them from the back of the organisation, put them at the front of the organisation. Yeah.
So there's actually the potential to create some new, more exciting roles that probably would engage a human workforce more than some of the work that they're currently doing now?
Without doubt. It's an opportunity to provide career paths for those people in, I don't know, there's probably a more politically correct term than grunt roles, but the data admin plumbing roles that should really be existing in today's society and in today's workforce. We need to be very careful that we don't eradicate all of them. I started on an IT help desk many years ago, and there's the opportunity to completely automate IT help days. But I wouldn't have got the start in my career if that had happened. Where would I have gone? Would it have been harder? Keep that in mind constantly. But I think with sharing those savings, with sharing the automation opportunities with the workforce, then that's how we can make sure that happens.
Okay, so moving us on to sort of the future of work now, and you present a lot on this as a thought leader in this space. What sort of your views around the current crisis about how this is going to affect how we view the future of work? Is this an opportunity? Is this a threat?
Yeah, number one, it's never going to be the same again. Like the world has changed. The way we do everything has changed. The way we, just the size of the change can't be underestimated, and it should. So when you look at it, we worked in a really archaic way anyway. So going to this window box, big smelly city every day to go and do work is a really old-fashioned way of working that comes from the Victorian times. We just took the workhouses and made them modern-day workhouses where we all wear suits as well, to a certain extent. I live in Kent. It's on the HS2 line. I'm saving £700 a month by not having a ticket into London. All right, say that I change that and goes down and I work in there 1 to 2 days a week. It's £500,000 a month. That's £6,000 a year, tax-free pay rise that we've just given everybody. But that pay rise at every level of the organisation is absolutely incredible. Add on to that the health and mental well-being aspects of not having to get on the train and not go and do it. People shouldn't have to be convincing their bosses anymore that they can work from home. I think one of the things that is going to be needed is some retraining a lot across middle management in how to manage people from home. Don't think that just because somebody's not online, they're not working and things like that. It's sometimes good to be offline and working on something else. I turned my Slack off. I deleted it from my phone because it was just annoying me. So we've got to be a more open workforce. We've got to be a more trusting workforce. From a wider aspect, we're seeing lots of online events and things like that happening now. We are social animals. We're going to want to interact with people, but you're going to have to do if you own an events company now, you're going to have to do quite a lot to convince me to leave my house, to come to the centre of London, to come and do something. We're going to need experiences. I think that's one of the main things. We're going to need to be given an experience to get us out of this way of working now. But I think it's hugely beneficial. If you haven't already, one of the first things you should be doing is investing in the tech to make this. This wouldn't have been a smooth transition for everybody, right? I've worked with a lot of IT teams over the last couple of months that have gone, oh my God, we did not realise that our tech was in this state, we thought we were doing quite well. Just simple things. One organisation, they're like 13,000 people. They only had 750 licenses to be able to work from home, because only 750 people at one time ever work from home. So there's a lot of learning curves that have happened there. But take this knowledge, make those changes. Don't go back to how you were before. The opportunity is huge. It's immense. And then again, on a growth scale for organisations, if you're now able to work from anywhere, if you're now able to operate online, well, you've just blown away all the borders across the entire world. Why can you not go and work with a company in Dubai if you're doing it from your front room and you don't need to be in Dubai anymore? Why can you not go and storm the market of France? I mean, it's just opportunity everywhere that's been forced upon us. It's obviously a terrible, tragic health crisis, but when we're talking purely about the future of work, then it's done wonders.
And I wonder, I mean, you're a serial entrepreneur, as you've mentioned. You've set up successfully 3 different companies and businesses. How's your thinking developing now in terms of what comes next? Because my members in the social housing space are going to, once they've got through the survival mode, they're going to be thinking about, okay, well, how do we reboot our organisation? How do we reboot what our business model is? As someone who's always looking for opportunities, you know, what could you share with viewers on that?
So first thing I'll do is look at what didn't work. Look at all those mini crises that you've had, and I'm sure huge crises you've had over the last few months. And then that forms the basis of what you need to fix first, really. I was chatting to someone from a housing association the other day, and they were in the office. And I was like, why on earth are you in the office? And he was like, well, the thing is, it's council tax time for us. And all the council tax letters get delivered by post, and there's no one here to pick up the post. So I need to come and pick up the post and then scan it. And then, long story short, but we're going to scan it and give it to a bot, and then they're going to do the rest of it. But just even small things like that, is like they were not resilient for what happens with post and things like that. So yes, so look at what's not going so well immediately. And then, I mean, in terms of opportunities, one of the general trends I would be looking to do is move as many of my contracts and assets to as a service models as possible. So what I mean by that is, if you were on as a service for everything now, what you're not using, you wouldn't be bothered about, because it's as a service. So if you don't use it, you don't pay for it. And what you are using more of, will it automatically scaled? This can apply to anything. Like, it can apply to cloud computing is the perfect as a service model. So you don't use it, you don't pay for it. You do use it, you pay for it, and it's infinitely scalable. But you can apply this to office space. So office space has already had a bit of a reinvention with the likes of WeWork and co coming along, moving us from these fixed term 5-year, 10-year contracts for a set amount of space to now going, well, I can do it per month, per desk. Well, that's perfect, because if you've got that, then you know that you can reduce it very, very quickly, but you could have turned it off last month as well, because you know you're not going to be using it for the next 3 months and things like that. You can do the same with your car fleet. You can do the same with sort of any fixed assets in general. And that's going to free up a lot of cash, especially if you've got assets to sell. If you own the office, you can potentially look at selling the office and moving to this as a service model. Well, that cash will see you through the next few months. So that's the sort of short and medium term things that I'll be looking at. But then sort of in the long term, it's the one thing that this is teaching us is that the future is about flexibility. We were all made to change the way in which we work overnight. Like, it was forced upon us. And those that were already most flexible, that were able to work from home, that were agile, that were as a service, will have found it a lot less painful than those that were not.
One final question from me then. You've raised a really interesting point there. A lot of organisations, are going to be hanging on to cash. Housing associations and housing providers are probably in a slightly different position in terms of their income level. Is this a good time to be investing and using some of that cash to invest in R&D and invest in research, or should they just hunker down until the storm is over?
So I would look at it slightly differently, and I had this conversation with somebody yesterday, and that I would look less it's a time to be bold, I think. So a bit less R&D, a bit less POV, a bit less testing. Take a look at what others have done, whether they're in your sector or not, and trust that it will work. Take that leap. Go straight to the project. Go straight to the program. Invest as much as you can allow at the moment. we see it a lot. Obviously, people want to do a lot of testing around RPA and intelligent automation and things like that. It's kind of proved its point already. It's been around for a few years. That's easy for me to say because I work in it 24/7 and have done for a couple of years. If you're a board member that's only heard the term at the start of the week, then we've got to do a lot more to reassure you about that. But do that without spending too much time and money, and then go straight for the bold option, which is the bigger project. I mean, we've just proved how that this is possible. We just built multiple 4,000 bed hospitals across the nation in a matter of weeks and days, not years that it normally takes. It can be done if it's managed right. And we've just generally proved, I think, that we don't need to be as fearful and we can move much faster than what we think.
Well, on that note, David, I think that's probably a really good point to sort of finish on in terms of, don't be frightened of the unknown. There's some big opportunities out there, so be bold. So thank you very much for your time today, and I look forward to having further conversations about intelligent automation with you in the future. Thank you very much.
Yeah. No problem. Thanks very much, Ian.